Chelsea away against Newcastle at St James's Park. You could say away at Chelsea's bogey ground. Chelsea with the perfect start to the season while Newcastle's hit on just 1 point. Chelsea should be the clear favourites, but the Blues do have a poor record away at Newcastle. Maurizio Sarri does confirm that both Eden Hazard and Mateo Kovacic are ready to start. To find out everything you need to know about both sides ahead of Sunday's game, make sure you watch this preview until the end. Hello there guys and welcome back to 100% Chelsea from a preview of the Newcastle versus Chelsea game at St James's Park, of course, taking place at 4 PM UK time on Sunday, August 26th. Before getting into it though, I do want to say a huge thank you to all of you because we have just hit 70,000 subscribers on YouTube and we're massively grateful. And we're not stopping anytime soon, and it's just, one step further towards our next goal of 100,000 subscribers, of course, but it is still a milestone. So, a massive thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, do make sure you do subscribe to 100% Chelsea and also click that notification bell button and choose to be notified about all of our uploads. We do cover every single Premier League game with reviews, with previews, fan cams, all the other shows as well. And of course, we will also cover the Cup games, the Europa League games. So if you don't want to miss out on any of that, do make sure to subscribe. And again, thank you guys for 70,000 subscribers. And also, let's see whether we can hit 700 or more likes on this video. We would massively appreciate that. So make sure you smash the like button down below to just show us that you do enjoy our content. But now getting into the preview and starting it off by speaking about our opposition, Newcastle. And Newcastle are in a bit of a situation. Massive issues with their owner Mike Ashley, who kind of buys companies or whatever it is instead of investing in the team properly, according to Newcastle fans. Mainly because he thinks Rafa Benitez is just so good that even with a poor squad, they finished 10th last season. So why does he need to buy players? There's loads of issues going on. Also, their manager Rafa Benitez clearly isn't all too happy about it either. Already wasn't about it last season already when he constantly complained about not getting his transfer targets basically. And even their pre-season results don't look that great either. They got battered 4-0 by Braga from Portugal, lost to the German side Augsburg by 1-0, a 2-2 draw against Hull City early on. To be fair, they did also get a 0-0 draw against Porto, which is a decent result, but generally those pre-season results don't look all that great. But of course, I don't know all the ins and outs about what happened during that pre-season. But I do know about the first two Premier League games, and on the first weekend in the league, they were beat 2-1 by Tottenham at St James's Park. Although in that game, to be fair to Newcastle, they did get a bit unlucky. Missed some big chances, including one massive one by Kennedy, hit the woodwork twice, and in all honesty, probably deserved at least a point from that game. Although, then in my opinion, was more down to Tottenham being, rather poor than Newcastle actually being great. The second game, last weekend though, was a different story. A 0-0 draw away at newly promoted Cardiff City. And Newcastle were poor, very poor, especially Chelsea loanee Kennedy. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he didn't complete a single pass in the first half. I could be wrong with that, but that's what I heard anyway. And actually also simply kicked the Cardiff player into the leg out of frustration. And the ref clearly didn't see it, although he said that he did see it, post-game basically. So that makes absolutely no sense. Kennedy should have been sent off in the first half without a doubt. Newcastle did then actually have a man sent off in the second half anyway, in Isaac Hayden, who only came on at half-time. And then to make it stay even worse, Kennedy missed a penalty in the 97th minute, or shall I say the goalkeeper saved this penalty in the 97th minute, which would have given Newcastle a rather undeserving victory away at Cardiff. Like this, it ended at 0-0, and they weren't great, and especially Kennedy wasn't great. How Kennedy didn't get a retrospective ban for his kick, I will never know, but obviously it was down to the ref saying he did see it, and obviously if the ref saw it, you can't give retrospective bans if I'm not mistaken. No idea why the referee would admit to that, because if he saw it and didn't send him off, like he didn't even book him, something must be wrong with the guy. Like, how can you not send someone off for that? It's mad. But of course for us it wouldn't have mattered anyway, as Kennedy, being a Chelsea loanee, of course can't play against us. And that certainly is an advantage for us as well, as he is a very important player to them, and with the exception of last week, usually actually plays quite well for them. All of what I've said about Newcastle now sounds very negative, but everyone knows that Chelsea always struggle away at Newcastle, and everyone knows that Newcastle are much stronger at home than they are away from home. Just looking at the games against Tottenham and Cardiff as well, they, like I said, were kind of unlucky to not get at least a draw against Tottenham, but they were just really poor at Cardiff. So, even under new manager at Chelsea with a completely new system, away at Newcastle somehow is always very difficult for Chelsea. And for those reasons, it will be a tough game either way, even with things not going all too great around Newcastle at the moment. And also they do have some very decent players. Lascelles at the back, John Joselvi and Diame in midfield. Madrici always has a good game in him as well. And then with Ayoze Perez and Joselu, you never really know, or however you pronounce Joselu, whatever. And same goes for the new signing Rondon, who obviously came from relegated West Brom, but is yet to start for them. So we'll have to wait and see what they do. But, away at Newcastle is never ever easy, especially for us. But yeah, that's really it about Newcastle now getting into Maurizio Sarri's pre-match press conference. And the first question that was asked to him was plain and simple. Will Eden Hazard start on Sunday? And Sarri said that he doesn't know yet. And in his opinion, Hazard is ready for about 50 to 60 minutes, but maybe not yet for 90 minutes. But he said that he can start. And also he said that he's very happy with Eden Hazard's motivation, his work and training as well, and that he looks like he really wants to play. And the same also goes for Mateo Kovacic, who again also is ready to play around 60 minutes, but not the full 90 minutes just yet. Sarri also made it clear yet again that he does like Kovacic a lot and hopes that he will remain with us in the future after his loan has finished as well. After that, Maurizio Sarri basically confirmed that Ruben Loftus-Cheek will stay at the club at least until January, after he said that he spoke to the club and then spoke to the players as well twice this week. And the only reason Ruben Loftus-Cheek didn't make the bench in the last game is because Sarri decided to have two wingers rather than two centre midfielders really on the bench, and obviously that one centre midfielder that did make the bench was of course Mateo Kovacic, which I suppose is fair enough as well. The boss was then asked if he worked on the defensive problems that were made obvious against Arsenal. Sarri replied by saying that he always works on everything, not just this week, but he also made it clear that he's not worried about any defensive problems because when he arrives at a new club, it always takes him 2 to 3 months to get the defensive system right, to get the whole system right, but especially at the back. Going forward, it usually works a little bit quicker. Asked whether he might ever consider to go through a back 3 or back 5, Sarri said that he can't and therefore won't, because the way he wants to play and the way he wants to defend is by only focusing on the ball. And if you have a 3 or 5, back basically, that doesn't work, he said, basically because you're lacking midfielders. And he said he tried it about 5 years ago and it's not his style, won't be using it. Like I said, Sarri did mention that for defensive players, it's even more difficult than for the attacking players to get used to his system, which is also why Gary Cahill hasn't been involved at all, because he came back from the World Cup so much later than the other defenders, and that's why the likes of David Luiz, who of course didn't even go to the World Cup at all, Rudiger and Christensen as well, are ahead of him in the pecking order. Of course, it's probably also ability-wise, but that's how Sarri explained it anyway. And Sarri said that he did tell Gary Cahill that he has to be patient, but that he is still very important for Chelsea. The boss also praised this squad's intelligence after being asked whether he has the right players to play his system, especially defensively. And he said that he thinks his players are very intelligent, and he did so by saying that his players are very intelligent and will understand the system and improve drastically in only 1 or 2 months, and just said that it will be alright in a little bit basically. And at last, Sarri also made it clear that it will be a very difficult game away at Newcastle on Sunday. Everyone knows how strong they are at home. We lost 3-0 there at the last day of last season, of course. They also beat Manchester United and Arsenal at home as well. So, it will be tricky, and Sarri knows that just as much as all of us do, basically. One thing that Sarri wasn't asked about is about team news. So I don't know about Cesc Fabregas' fitness situation after, of course, missing the last 2 games with some sort of around the knee injury that he picked up before the Community Shield, then played in the Community Shield, which then ended up making his injury worse. Is he back in full training? I don't think so. But if he is he ready to be involved tomorrow? I very much doubt it. I still think Fabregas is out. Maybe he will be back for the game next week. We'll have to wait and see. And of course, because he wasn't asked, basically, I don't know if there's any new injury concerns that we haven't heard about, but I should hope not, and I don't think so. So that's it from the press conference, and now talking about Chelsea. And let's start it off by speaking about the lineup. And now with what Sarri said, I do think that both Hazard and Kovacic will start on Sunday. And I expect them to come in for Willian and Ross Barkley. Otherwise, I think the side will actually stay unchanged. So I think it will be this. Obviously a 4-3-3 formation, Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal, Cesar Azpilicueta and Marcos Alonso as the 2 fullbacks, the 2 centre-backs being Antonio Rudiger and David Luiz, a midfield 3 of Jorginho, N'Golo Kanté and Mateo Kovacic, like I said, and the 2 wingers being Eden Hazard and Pedro staying in the side rather than Willian, simply because Pedro has done so well over the last few games. So I think Sarri will stick with him, and I think Pedro deserves to stay in the side basically, and I'm pretty sure that he will go with Alvaro Morata up front again. Of course, Sarri said that Hazard and Kovacic are only ready to really play an hour, so I do expect Willian and Barkley to come on for them after, like I said, around an hour played. I know some people want Kanté to go back to his original DM role, where Jorginho plays as a deep-lying playmaker these days under Sarri, but neither will that happen, nor should that happen, in my opinion. Like Sarri said, it takes time for his defensive system and the system overall to fully click and work. So give it time, even if you're not happy with it right now, at times anyway. Give it time and it will work. Also with Jorginho and Kanté in the position Sarri intends to play them in. And I also know that some people want to see Christensen played instead of David Luiz. And to be honest, I disagree with that. I don't think David Luiz has been anywhere near as bad as some people are making him out to be. And also his confidence on and with the ball, along with his incredible passing ability from deep, which we saw a fair few times against Arsenal as well, in which he is without doubt far superior to Christensen in my opinion. He's a huge asset to our attacking play as well. It's not just about defending. This isn't like Conte where, okay, you're a defender, so you're meant to defend, and the front 3 basically are attacking, and maybe the wing backs here and there. No, this is Maurizio Sarri. The centre backs, even the goalkeeper, are part of the attacking basically. So David Luiz is like I said, his ball playing abilities are crucial to our attacking play as well. And like I said, I don't think he's been anywhere near as bad defensively as some people, are trying to make it out to be. The one thing that I do keep saying, and I would prefer to see, is Emerson Palmieri starting instead of Marcos Alonso. Even with Alonso getting an assist and the decisive goal against Arsenal. But Sarri sure does look set on using Alonso for the time being. So I hope that he gets it right and it doesn't turn out to be the wrong decision. And I truly hope that I'm wrong if Sarri keeps going with Marcos Alonso. But how do we beat Newcastle? In my opinion, at least. Now, Benitez knows how to set the team up. Everyone knows that. Even Man City struggled a lot, to beat them once last season. Newcastle didn't even want to have the ball in that game. They ended up with like 17% of the ball or something crazy like that. Will they go as defensive and as extreme against us, as they did against Man City? I guess we'll have to wait and see, but I wouldn't rule it out, especially on the Sarri now. And when Benitez does set up defensively, he knows what he's doing and his Newcastle team is capable of defending extremely well. Tottenham found a lot of joy and created a lot of danger from set pieces and crosses against them 2 weeks ago. So maybe that's something we should and could be looking at as well. Crosses towards Morata and corners, etc. and free kicks, of course, as well. Onto Rudiger's head, for example, because Rudiger seems to be the strongest in the air from set pieces at least. And, that could certainly cause danger. But of course, we will still be playing our newly found attacking and passing style of football. But don't be surprised if there are a lot of sideways passes, which I know a lot of people, especially on Twitter, always say, well, we're always passing sideways. When the team, the other team defends and you have the ball, you just have to pass it sideways sometimes to find an opening. That's just how it is. Basically just forced by Newcastle sitting very deep. Of course, we will still, have the odd pass forward here and there, to try and find a way through. But there could well be a fair few sideways passes if Newcastle just sit very, very deep. But in all honesty, I think the main difference will be Eden Hazard and also Maurizio Kovacic if they do start. Although, of course, Pedro has also been playing very well so far under Sarri as well and could, of course, also make a difference like he did against Arsenal with that early goal. But coming to my prediction, and this is why I don't like giving predictions, because I predicted a 1-1 draw for both of our last 2 games and we won them both. And now I kind of feel inclined to predict a 1-1 draw again, just for that reason, because it worked the last 2 times kind of thing. Being a little bit superstitious basically, but this time I actually have a feeling that we will get that win. Even with our poor record at St James's Park, even with Newcastle, in all honesty, deserving at least a point against Tottenham, and even with our system not working, to its fullest just yet, I just have that feeling that we're going to get a win. So I think we'll win the game by 2-1, maybe 1-0, maybe 2-0, something around that. But I will stick with a 2-1 prediction. But yeah, that's really it from me. Leave me all of your thoughts on the game down in the comment section below. Tell me, what lineup would you like to go with? What lineup do you think Maurizio Sarri will go with? And also leave me your score predictions down in the comment section below. And like I said in the beginning, let's see whether we can hit 700 or more likes in this video. We would massively appreciate it. So if you enjoyed the video and if you do enjoy our content, make sure you smash that like button. We would massively appreciate that. Also, don't forget to check out my social media, which is LOFTUS-CHEEK on both Instagram and Twitter, as you can see over here. And also the links to both of them are down in the description below. So if you could follow me over there, I would massively appreciate that. And of course, it is YouTube. If you haven't already, do make sure you subscribe to 100% Chelsea. And also don't forget to click the notification bell button and choose to be notified about all uploads. And again, thank you guys for 70,000 subscribers. We do massively appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea. And I'll see you next time.